Tower defense has grown exponentially since the release of Tower Battles in 2017, but now in 2023 we have all these, so hey, why not make a tier list? Starting off with the OG Tower Battles. Overall, it is undeniable that the game is not what it used to be. However, this game still has a wide variety of original towers such as Arsonist, Phaser, and best of all, Monkey. It also features a mode almost every other game lacks, Versus, a player versus player mode where the winner takes all by spamming boss 1. There are even Discord tournaments to win an exclusive tower, Huntsman. Though lacking in quality and replayability with only one survival mode, the events are also challenging unlike other events from other games. I still think the game is overall a strong contender. For those reasons, I'm giving it an A tier. Next up, Critical Tower Defense, a critical strike inspired game. Honestly, this game is pretty fun. It is the same tower defense formula as most games, but it excels in being unique. Although the game does not look insane quality wise, that's part of what makes the game what it is. It has perks you can equip to gain a benefit at the cost of a drawback of sorts. It also features cosmetics for when you place, upgrade and sell your tower, which is pretty cool and has not been done before. One other cool thing is that all the game passes can be earned through in-game progression, thus eliminating the pay-to-win aspect of the game. Overall, the game feels like a breath of fresh air if you've already played games like Tower Battles and TDS with its military style. Oh, and the music. As for my rating, I'd give it a B tier. Next, TDS. TDS is one of, if not the best tower defense game in terms of quality and pay for winnability. All the animations, towers and maps look well made. They also feature various game modes that make it quite replayable and exciting to progress. It also boasts an insane amount of maps that buff the replayability even more. They even have various creative towers that spice up gameplay, such as Accelerator and Toxic Gunner. Personally though, this is where my pros end. Although monetizing a game makes sense to fund developers to create updates, it's just a little bit too greedy. Players that have played since launch are barely rewarded as their limited event towers are worthless. Why? Well, you can simply buy them with Robux when they're on sale. For this reason, I think I'll have to give it an A tier. Next we have Anime Adventures, an anime inspired game. As a first time player, my first impression loading in is a vomit pool of RGB. That aside though, the game has a gacha system, so there's not a direct line of progression in the game. The user interface itself is a bit overwhelming at first, however it is manageable for the most part. The gameplay itself is actually not that bad, with the towers having high quality effects that genuinely look good. This surprised me due to seeing how bad All-Star Tower Defense was. The enemies themselves, however, are a disappointment due to repetitive walking animations and new enemies only appearing every 5 to 10 waves or so. Overall, I found the gameplay to be quite beginner friendly to the point where you don't really need a strategy to win as long as you upgrade your towers. Although not necessarily a bad thing, it does feel really brainless not needing to strategize. A thing I also found annoying is that you have to play a map 6 times before you can go to the next one, making it feel quite repetitive to play. The game itself has so many features such as tournaments, raids, and other content. I think it might be the most replayable out of this entire list, due to never really reaching an endpoint in the game, because I don't really think there is, if that makes sense. The game balance is awful too, as your friend can have towers dealing 5000 damage whilst you only have 100 damage dealing towers, making the game impossible to lose. The game itself is very monetized with pay to win game passes and really putting it in your face that you should buy gems if you don't have enough or something. Honestly, I can see some people think this is S tier or even F tier, but personally I'm giving it a B tier. Next, World Tower Defense. This is actually a game I used to play more than a year ago, but it had a auto reset. The game has a cool retro theme, which I'm quite a fan of. As for the content, there's a wide variety of towers and even cosmetics that work like perks. It has a campaign, although personally it feels a little too rough as it doesn't really give recommendations on what towers you need for each level. The gameplay itself is quite fun. It's full with various towers ranging from a mecha to a literal chess piece. The progression is well done and the interface is not overwhelming, especially since there's a tutorial. A minor problem is the fact that most players are fairly progressed, so joining in, you might find it hard to find teammates. In conclusion, it's a good game, but it's not easy to find other players due to the player count. In conclusion, it's a good game, but it's not easy to find other new players due to the player count. Overall, I'd give it A tier. Next, Tower Blitz. Probably my favorite tower defense game right now. It has a lot of stuff going for it. It has daily challenges in the lobby that you beat to earn a currency used to buy skins and even unlock a free tower. It has the usual free modes, however, it has something going for it. Modifiers. Modifiers are basically game modes themselves, allowing you to customize the difficulty to increase the rewards. As for the towers themselves, they probably have the best tower balancing out of all games. The early mid-game towers feel a lot more useful and can actually beat the first mode. A nice feature is that all the event towers are obtainable and not behind paywalls. TDS. An example being Mechanic, where you have to beat 4 expert modes to unlock the tower, despite it being a 2021 event tower. Oh, and then I mentioned 2 upgrade paths. It makes unlocking new towers more exciting, as you get to test which path you like most. And it has a spaceship. S tier. Lastly, we have Geometry Defense. The game is unique in that all the enemies are geometric shapes, which is kinda cool. However, it did get boring after a few games. As for features, the game has charms, equipable shapes that grant certain buffs when equipped with a limit of 3. I think this is one of the game's highlights, as you can actually see the charms in game. Besides that, there are various game modes to play. However, I found a major flaw in the game. The progression is way too fast at the start. You can get one of the best towers in the game by only playing for a few hours, which makes the game's lifetime feel a bit short. The towers themselves are pretty bland looking, but it's to fit into the basic enemies, and also of course theme. Overall, I found the game to be fun, until you hit about level 20, where the progression slows by a lot. Surprisingly, the towers are pretty well balanced overall, with early game towers being decent. The game has a lot of potential, but right now, I think I'll have to give it C tier. Maybe subscribe. If not, tell me why in the comments, so I can keep improving my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.